Hi class, how you guys doing? Welcome to week 7. Yeah, I know, week 7 already, right? Wow, this class just whipped by, didn't it? Great class. Everyone's doing fantastic. I couldn't ask for a better group, guys. I mean that. You guys are as a group, you guys are performing in, I would say, at an outstanding level. So, really super engaged group. So I really appreciate it, guys. I really do. A couple more weeks, and all this hard work is done. As a matter of fact, this week is we're laying back a little, just a little bit. I know last week was pretty busy. We still have quite a bit to do, but let's go ahead and take a look. I want to look at the setup for the week, and then we'll go ahead and take a look at the announcement. So what do we have? So week 7 overview. Do I have that open? I don't think I have that open because that's that's an overview. That's pretty self-explanatory. So be sure you take a look at that. Okay, we have this presentation, finishing touches, and that has to do, there's two things that we'll do, finishing touches and staying relevant. And then the finishing touches is really important, and I'm going to tell you the reason why, because the last thing you do with any Photoshop work is you have to sharpen it. And the reason being is that sharpen, meaning that you're just creating crisper, sharper edges, because a lot of the edits that we do and a lot of the techniques we have learned kind of creates, it can create a little bit of soft edges in the work. So we do something called sharpening, and that really brings it to a level of crispness that is suitable for professional output, professional production output. Okay, so the way we do that is we call it's called sharpening. There's 3 different ways we're going to look at sharpening in this week, and one is called the unsharp mask. The second is called smart sharpening, and the third is called high pass sharpening, and the third is called high pass sharpening, and then the last is called localized sharpening, which you can actually work sharpening in with portions of a layer. So, for example, you can sharpen just the eyes of an image. Okay, so that's really a useful thing as we think about it. So sharpening is very relevant and a very integral part of the last stages of finishing up your Photoshop workflow. Very important. Take a look at this, go through these tutorials and experiment, practice, open an image and practice. You'll see it. The only way to do this, guys, is to practice, because you can see that sharpening techniques can get away from you quickly. And it all has to do with these threshold and radius sliders. So you have to be really careful. My recommendation is to open some images, work on unsharp masking, work on smart sharpening, and work on high pass sharpening, and really experiment to see there's a certain point where it's almost too much, and so you really want to kind of fine tune that, find the sweet spot, and become accustomed to that. And then I also would like you to try to work on some localized sharpening techniques where you're only sharpening. I think a great idea here would be to just work on maybe the eyes of a portrait or something. Okay. That said, that's finishing touches. Okay, that's important. I have a little bit more on that in 1 second. Then we go to our second presentation, which is staying relevant. Now, this, guys, is something that is near and dear to my heart. Okay, and this is staying relevant. Basically, what this does is this. Now, if you've noticed, I've left throughout the class. I've left a ton of resources for you guys, and the reason is twofold. Number one, it is to allow you to supply you with kind of this mini topic specific library that you can put in your GD2220 folder. You can put this in your work folder and call it like something like moving forward. And that way you have all of the resources together for that, so that when you do want to continue working on your Photoshop skills, everything is there, and you have this little mini, as I said, a topic-specific mini library for you to apply to your further knowledge of Photoshop. So that is something that's so important to me. The other reason, remember I said the reasons are twofold for supplying all of those resources. The second reason is for you to understand the relevance of outside research. Photoshop and all software changes on a regular basis. It's incumbent on the designer, or in this particular case, the student, to keep themselves abreast of those changes. So continuously looking into online tutorials, tips and tricks, etc., is a very big part of the professional digital workflow. Okay, whenever Photoshop comes out with a new version, they usually introduce new tips and or tools. I'm sorry, techniques and tools. And as I said, it's up to us as designers to learn those tools expeditiously and effectively. And the only way to do that really is to find out the best way to move forward with those skills. Now, of course, we have, I think the best instruction out there, bar none, is lynda.com/LinkedIn Learning. And it's a wonderful resource. And guys, listen, you guys are so lucky to have access to lynda.com as RimCAD students. I can't even describe what a fantastic asset this is. So if at any chance at all, I go straight to lynda.com/LinkedIn Learning. But of course, there's always going to come a point in time when you have to actually go out to the web. So that's where the real skill comes in, where you have to decipher the legit from the kind of the, excuse my French, the BS. And there's a lot of BS on the web, and we know that. Tutorials are one thing. I would never, ever, ever recommend taking design advice from somebody online without knowing their credentials. Okay, so in other words, if you just pop open a YouTube video and the author of that video is saying, oh yeah, we stack type all the time, it's a great practice. Well, don't necessarily take that. Be aware of the credentials of the person giving the advice, and that's why I say you have no concerns whatsoever in lynda.com, as those are all highly seasoned professionals, very much at the forefront of the field. So, but the point here is that we need to learn how to decipher the legit from the BS. Okay. And that's pretty much to a very high degree what this is all about. These are great, great sites right here. PHLearn is phenomenal. Okay, and I've included several resources from PHLearn or Flearn, however you want to say it, in the class so far. So okay, okay, this is good too. Fuel and passion. That's good advice too, and good resources there too. Okay, so back to task at hand. Let's go back to. Okay, so then we're going to do a tutorial. So all of this, right, finishing touches and tutorials, staying relevant by learning tutorials. So what we're going to do is we're going to culminate that by actually doing a tutorial. You're going to find a tutorial of your choice, okay, and you're going to perform that tutorial, and you're going to include that tutorial, and we're going to critique on that tutorial. So find something good, guys. Find something good. Don't do something simple. It's not going to help anybody if you just do a tutorial on how to add bevel and emboss to a type effect in Photoshop. Try to find something really relevant and somewhat complex. Okay, we're at that point, right? I mean, we've got so many tools under our belt. It's time to start flexing our Photoshop muscles, right? Okay, now then project 3, back to the travel campaign, right? Now, I just want to do this, and then we have the critique. I just want to pop this open just so you can see something real quick here. This actually shows the dimensions of all 3 pieces for the final campaign. So be sure you get in there and pay attention to those dimensions and understand why those dimensions are as such. If you have any difficulty understanding why, let me know. I'll be glad to make any necessary clarifications. Okay, excellent. Let's go back. Now, before I wrap things up, I just want to go quickly to the announcement. This is the announcement, so what do we have here? Welcome to week 7. Where have we been and where are we going, kind of basically? Here's a little example of some nice Photoshop composite work. Moving forward, we have sharpening the image too. As I mentioned the importance of sharpening the image, I've also included some really good resources here. And again, these are suitable to place in your mini library, as I stated earlier. Wait, there's more. We're also going to continue that travel campaign right here. Week 7 learning outcomes, week 7 tasks, week 7 deliverables and due dates. That wraps it up, guys. Welcome to week 7. Everyone's doing fantastic. Now, those of you who have contacted me for help, tutorial-wise or design advice, you know you're not waiting for me for a response. You're not waiting on me for a response. I'm pretty good about getting back to you quite quickly, and many times a matter of hours. So don't hesitate to let me know if you have any questions, comments, concerns, clarifications, and or other issues. Okay? All right, guys. Welcome to week 7. I'll see you guys in class. Thank you very much.